Hi, Tokyo Tops.
Hi, Tokyo Hoes.
It has been a while.
It's been a while.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going? Is there any recent update in your life? Dating anyone, seeing anyone, fucking anyone? So you guys know that we went to the Tokyo Rainbow Pride this year and it was
Rainy.
quite fun. It was
One day. Just one day.
one day. We went one day. So today we want to talk about, again, Pride stuff because it's International Pride. We have Dawn today to inform us some history and address some drama happened this year.
I mean, there's a lot of information
To unpack.
that has happened. I pretty much think you guys don't know what Tokyo Pride has done to get to where it's at. So
I did some research just for this.
you did some research. Oh, you think you did more than me, huh? So I'd like to give you guys a little quiz, and everyone out there too. Maybe you've done some research as well, and see how much you really know about the beginnings and the flourishment of Tokyo Rainbow Pride. So the first question is about the beginnings of
Okay.
Tokyo Rainbow Pride. Tokyo Gay Pride and its events have been around for almost 30 years. 30 years.
okay.
But when was the actual first Tokyo Gay Pride? A, 1994, B, 1997, or C, 1999?
97.
1994, I did research.
You did
Yeah.
research?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I did.
You didn't look at every single archive?
I noted down on my notes.
Are you
so
sure?
It's
on your
yes.
notes? The answer is yes, 1994. But do you know how many people attended that first Pride?
I don't know.
Very, like, no one practically. Probably,
Well, you would
right?
think that, right?
That's your point.
Well, according to my research, 100 people gathered.
Yeah.
But when they were ready to do the march, about 1,000 people
Oh, really?
were there for the first Rainbow. Well, at the time, it was a different name, but it was originally called the Gay and Lesbian Pride at the time. But yeah, the first Pride was 1994, and about 1,000 people attended it then.
That's a lot, actually.
That's a lot.
A lot more than prides I attended to later on in Tokyo.
Wait, were
Really?
you guys
Yes.
in Japan at that time?
94?
94, when I was 10 years old.
Maybe him.
I mean,
Yeah, that little gay boy. And then, woo!
How many cities in Japan currently hold a form of gay pride?
Okay.
Is it A, 5 cities, B, 6 cities, or C, 7 cities?
they're so close. Like, why don't you say like 5,
No,
10? Like-
no, this is supposed to be a quiz.
Okay. I would choose the middle one. I would choose 6.
6, okay. How about you?
7.
7. The answer is actually 5. So there's one, Tokyo, Sapporo, Osaka, Nagoya, Fukuoka. Those are the 5 major cities that do the parade, actually. I remember in Osaka, when I was studying abroad in 2006, I remember someone saying, oh, like having gay pride, and like I skipped school, skipped school to go down for the weekend to go there. But that was like the first time I think I was like, oh, that got you guys, like so hot. Like it was the first, like because you know you come to Asia and you like think of like these skinny thin guys, and there was like this really hot like Jiraiya type looking guy, and he was like, let me go ahead and put this sash on you. I was like, ah. But which of the following celebrities have not made an appearance at Tokyo Rainbow Pride?
Okay.
Is it A, Chara, B, Utada Hikaru, or C, Caroline Kennedy?
Who's
I don't know
Caroline
who
Kennedy?
Caroline Kennedy is. We would know if Utada appeared because all of our friends would probably never shut up about
Maybe-
how Utada appeared at Rainbow Pride. She's such a gay icon that I want to say that she would have come out, but at the same time, maybe she's so famous.
This is
and
not
such a gay
limited
icon
to being a billboard, but actually making appearance. Like
that
be
I think it
attending
might be hard for her to come out, like the logistics, because she's so famous. So I'm gonna say, oh, but then IU came and she's pretty big too. I don't know. I'm just gonna say Caroline Kennedy.
Oh, Caroline Kennedy is the ambassador, right? The American ambassador.
Is she? What's your answer first?
Yes. My answer is Utada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Utada, and you think Caroline,
Caroline
Kennedy?
Kennedy.
You've researched too much. Yes, it's correct. Utada is the person who hasn't made any appearance,
Okay.
not even just in attendance or actually been invited.
Yeah.
You're right. Caroline Kennedy is, or at the time, I don't know if she still is, but
Ambassador,
She was
right?
ambassador. Yeah, she
Yeah,
was
yeah,
ambassador,
okay,
U.S.
I
ambassador
remember.
to Japan at the time. I mean,
And now I remember because Kennedy, like she is Kennedy's daughter.
yeah. She's I think one of the sons' daughters. What? Also, some notable appearances. The Prime Minister wife, former Prime Minister's wife, Abe, she made an appearance.
Really?
Yes, and it was kind of a big thing because
That
of
is
course
a big
he's
thing,
like
'cause
more
he's quite
conservative,
conservative.
and she made an appearance, and it was like Twitter was like going a flitter. What year did Tokyo Rainbow Pride spotlight a major step towards same-sex couple recognition and rights advancement?
What?
A, 2015, B, 2016, or C, 2018?
Okay, I'll go with 2015.
15.
Yes.
16.
16. Ming, you know all the answers. It's A. It's A, 2015. But do you know what the advancement was? There was the same sex certificates that were issued through the Shibuya Ward.
You know, actually, because I went to that Pride, there was a booth and telling people to sign up for, signature to say like support same-sex marriage. So I have very vivid memory of that. So I think it's the earliest date. That's it. 2015.
Yeah, well, that's good instinct. Yeah, it was that, basically. As of April 2022, 201 municipalities and 8 prefectures have established a partnership oath system. Basically allows same-sex couples that are recognized in those areas to have easier chances to get housing, hospital visitation rights, as well as partners are able to consent for each other during surgery. But the only thing about that is that it's like on paper, but if you go to a hospital or someplace that is supposed to enforce it, it's not pushed as enforcement. So it's up to the company to recognize it or be cooperative, or they can reject it as well.
Okay.
Last question. This one is around incidents. So we know in terms of general pride that it started in New York at the Stonewall Inn as a protest.
Yeah.
And Tokyo also has had its certain issues and skeletons and controversy. This year, there was a reported incident of obstruction directed at a high-level sponsor from an exhibitor in another booth. What was the alleged reason the incident arose? A, because an exhibitor from the high-level sponsored booth was hit on by the opposing exhibitor. B, because an exhibitor from the high-level sponsored booth was outed by the opposing exhibitor. C, because the high-level sponsoring booth company denied services to the opposing exhibitor in the past.
Oh, I'd say C. That sounds more of an issue.
Ming?
I mean, I know.
I know.
I mean, it's the huge drama I want to address here. Answer is C, and also it's Jidosha Hokken.
Yes, Jidosha Hokken, exactly.
I think it was the discount.
The discount?
Yeah.
Oh, the
so
discount was it?
Yeah, so they weren't eligible to get the discount because they don't acknowledge them as a couple.
Explain it for the masses. So there was a high-profile car insurance company that was at Rainbow Pride being like, yay, we support gay rights.
Right.
Then there was a different booth that had a couple present who were like, wait, why are you supporting Pride? We tried to ask for or apply for couple insurance.
Right.
And we were denied because we weren't recognized as a couple.
Right. There's good and bad in that because, someone who was Japanese as well, which is like, oh, you're going to use this opportunity to raise a fuss about something that's actually important. Companies just go there just to look like they're on the bandwagon, but they actually don't do as much as they're supposed to, they're expected to be doing.
I mean, that's the whole thing, the discussion nowadays, right? About rainbow capitalism. This whole situation probably brings extra awareness to the whole
For sure.
issue, right?
Yeah.
So since Andrew doesn't know the drama, that's not the whole drama, okay? So the whole drama is that after they protest to the booth of that company and the shine of that Jidosha Hokken no company, and they came out saying like, 事実確認まだ確認できないからやめてください. So they 注意したの, the Jidosha Hokken no 会社, and they reported to Tokyo Rainbow Pride committee, and they called the police on the protester. And the police came and talked to the protesters, and the police saying that it's legitimate, like they can protest.
You can protest.
Yes.
It was like a public situation.
So after that, the TRP announced a huge explanation about the situation, what's the reason they called the police on him, and also why they allow as a platinum sponsor.
Ooh, platinum. Because why they allowed? Because they paid a lot of money to be a sponsor. Yeah.
But you know what? The positive outcome of the story is that
is now probably doing it.
Yes,
Or
the
figuring something
CEO
out.
or the announced that there's gonna be some changes coming within this year. So
That's
I mean,
good.
that's really positive about it.
I mean, it wasn't violent. It was raising a fuss, but it was already probably boring on that day, that rainy day anyway. So you need a little bit of drama. But you want to know some extra drama? Tokyo Rainbow Pride hasn't always been consistent. The first 3 years, they had it running for 3 years. There was another type of kind of like bum rushing. So they had the same place. They had Yoyogi the first time. The first year, for their third year, they had Yoyogi for the first time having Pride held there. And apparently someone had rushed the stage, like grabbing the mic and was like protesting towards the person who was the top of the committee that year. There was a rumor, allegedly, that the money used for funding it was from prostitution and not like legit money.
But why prostitution isn't legit money though?
I mean, well, not always. Dirty money, that's what they call
So
it.
it was just not coming through official
there
channels.
were the people protesting were like, please do this legitly. Get companies to fund it. Get sponsors to fund it so you know that the things are legit and so that society doesn't look at this as something that came from something
But see,
dirty.
and this is the issue now then, right? Because now we have companies and then people
Right.
attack it for rainbow capitalism,
Right,
right?
exactly.
And that these companies are just doing it so that
vicious
they can...
cycle.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
If you ask my opinion, I don't think they're homophobic.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think they're homophobic.
I don't think so either.
I just feel like Japan, the society itself, it
Yeah.
doesn't have the full support.
Right.
I think there's a difference between I don't want to support same-sex marriage and we just don't have a system in place because nothing's been created.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So like when they're like, well, we don't have any precedent for supporting same-sex marriage and we don't really know how to go about it. That's why it hasn't been done yet, as opposed to we are rejecting your application because we don't believe in it. Right.
Right.
And that's the difficult part.
That's
Right.
the difficult part,
Yeah.
but I will say they're kind of like putting an excuse, like, oh, the system is it's not complete, that's why we're behind. But there are also a lot of other insurance companies already implemented, supporting same-sex partnership, especially like really early, like 2015, 2016.
Right.
Like LifeNet Seime, Nihon Seime, a lot
yeah.
of companies
They also are
actually,
there.
they already have there. But being, in Tokyo Rainbow Pride for the previous 6 years, and this is your platinum
This is the
year.
first time that you're actually going to start.
Right.
Yeah, and even before that, you never thought about supporting, provide the services to gay people. I thought that's a little bit,
Priorities. That's what it is. It's
that's a little bit
priorities.
excuse,
I also think there's probably a bunch of other companies at Tokyo Rainbow Pride who have not supported gay rights and who are now quietly in the background being like, oh shit, for next year, let's make sure that we, dot our I's and cross our T's to make sure that this doesn't happen because
Yep.
I bet this company's not the only one.
Yep.
So it's good because it'll probably have a butterfly effect where it'll influence or inspire other companies to make sure that they have things in place.
we can talk about rainbow capitalism a little bit, because Andrew mentioned earlier. My thought on it is, I don't think company actually really care about gay rights. Like, to be honest, because I understand it. What's the main goal of a company? To make money. I feel like right now, a lot of people join the wave of like supporting diversity, LGBT disability is because if you're not doing these,
Did you just call LGBT a disability?
and
It's like,
disability.
okay.
or global warming, things like that. These are all PR.
Social issues.
Is to boost the company's image. That's why they're doing it. Do they really care about individual right? Do they really care about my happiness? I don't really think so. Is my company homophobic? I don't think so.
Right.
Okay? I don't think it's homophobic, but I've experienced homophobic energy sometimes. For example, like we have a special message we can put on our profile. So I used to I loved Drag Race before. I would be like, oh, I'm not here to play. I'm here to slay. Like I'm here to work or something like that. But like slay and work, my manager come to me and say like, oh, these words sounds very dangerous. And they're just very ignorant, like what the client's seeing that oh, they think about violence. Work sounds like torque. Are you here to do prostitution or something like that? I was very mad, so I reported to HR, and HR also was on the side of the manager.
What?
Yeah, and they were saying not all clients really understand that. This is a workplace. At that moment, I feel like okay, you're seeing gay culture as something is ratchet, is on the part on part. So
Let's not use the word ratchet. Let's use the word offensive.
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 Yes. So I was thinking okay, then you guys are not pro LGBT, but in fact they have a very complete system to support LGBT, but contradict with the purpose of business.
Right.
That's why they have to business first.
Gotcha.
I would also say I fully agree with that. But it's not just about gay people. I don't think these companies care about their straight workers either. We're always looking into how companies are overworking people. The only reason these companies are taking care of anyone is because of certain laws that are being put into place and stuff like that, right? If there's a financial crisis in the company, they're firing everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't care
They don't care.
They
It's
don't care.
about-
Cut your losses.
right? A positive side is that, yes, we all know that the companies are there for PR.
Right.
But the PR works for the gay community as well. When they go to Don Quixote and see all the rainbows, you know, and then after, every time they go to Don Quixote now, in every station around Japan, they see the rainbows. It gives that image to
Visibility.
people, that visibility, and then people who don't know any better think, oh, I love Donkey and Donkey supports gay rights, therefore, you know, something must be positive about the community, not as, you know, dark and evil as I thought.
Right.
It does help us. So it's a necessary evil, I think.
Well, I don't think it's evil. I think it's just capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism is evil.
Is evil and it's
evil.
It's necessary.
Also, I think if there's someone who's out in the company, put them bitches in the booth. Put them at the booth and make them show like, oh yeah, like we're talking the same language, and also I'm working at this company.
You know, that's the problem. It's gonna be a bunch of gaijins at the booth.
Yeah.
Because
Ooh, well, listen, we matter too.
I feel like in Japan, it's still so difficult
Yeah.
for the Japanese people to come out. Like, even though they're probably coming out to their friends, they're in Nichome hanging out with people, but like in a work environment, like there is LGBT group in my company, but every member is a gaijin. It's time for Japanese people to come out and represent yourself, you know?
I agree with you. In order for Japan to change, it has to change from within, from Japanese people.
Sure.
However, we also have to acknowledge that we do get a little bit of a free pass as foreigners to be different in any ways, not just sexuality wise. In very many ways, we can get away with things that are not allowed in Japan. So saying like, you guys got to come out, it's going to be probably twice as hard than it would be for us normally. To your point, in my company, same thing. My company has a LGBT sort of committee support, and they're always like, let's get visibility, and they put posters around the company, well, pre-COVID time, but, saying like, come out and support, only foreigners show up. I even know people in the company, so I was like reaching out, and everyone was just like, no, these people don't want to be seen.
Yeah.
My message to these kind of people is stop being a pussy.
Don't use that word.
Be the change you want to see. These people might not even want gay rights.
That's the thing, is that they want it to be done and over, and then they'll maybe partake in it. They're not going to be a part of the fight. And there's always people who are like that. There's even in America, even in Europe, like places that you go, they're just more passionate about being treated equally. So then there's some way to go up after that. If you already started at a disadvantage, in Japan it's like, oh, shogunai. These phrases exist and they make me fucking,
I hate that
I hate those
that
words.
phrase so
It can't be
much.
helped. It just can't be helped. Those are people who are like that, but they'll still be secretly like having arguments, complaining about why they want to have it.
We talk about this a lot, about how North America is dangerous for gay people. So Japan's behind, but it's safe.
Right.
But I think that's great, and I'm happy about that. I don't want it to be dangerous. But
No.
I think that danger probably is motivation for people to get things to change. Here, it's so safe. People are like, why am I sticking my neck out? What's the point? I'm safe. It's a hard sell. It's a harder sell.
It's not hard. Just stop being a pussy.
It's-
You think it's easy for foreigners to come out? Not really, okay? It's not that easy either.
It's not that easy.
It's not easy as you thought. We came out of our home country as well. It was not easy. It's not like we're hidden from our family. Yeah, you know? So like, stop being a pussy. Stop making excuses.
Wow.
That's my
Going
message
on.
to you, okay?
Go on, sis. Go on.